So the owner actually told me that if I get this thing running, I can take it for free. Still there, oh well, it has an engine. Well, this thing, it looks a little rough.
What are you thinking?
Now, I'm a little worried because I really don't know a lot about airplanes. So come with me on this ride and let's see if I can get this thing started and take home a free airplane. All right guys, and because of this car right here, this Honda Civic, is the reason why we actually found that airplane. Now, I was on Facebook looking for a simple little Honda Civic manual that I wanted to drive around. But, of course, that caught my eye back there, which, after messaging the seller, is why we're here. Because he actually said that we might be able to do something with it and take it home. All right, guys, the airplane's just right around this corner. And check that out. There it is. Well, it's definitely an airplane. As far as I can tell, it hasn't flown in at least 10 years. And the main reason why it hasn't flown is because the runway that it used to fly out, a small grass airstrip, is now completely built up and taken over. So, first thing I notice is, well, this airplane's been sitting for a long time, and it looks like a lot of these cables are just disintegrating. And actually, now that I'm noticing, this fuel hose looks like it broke apart completely, which that might be an issue. So we're gonna have to look at that. Well, this thing, it looks a little rough. Guys, check this out. You're not gonna believe what I just found. This is actually the hour meter, and this airplane only has 64 original hours. Can you believe that? That's like brand new. And to get a better understanding of actually what we're dealing with here, I want to take these covers off and see the condition of the wings. Because based on the condition of these wings will determine if this airplane is actually even worth saving. It's probably going to cost way too much to fix this airplane. And while I'm here sweating away taking these knots off for this covers, make sure you subscribe because this is a lot of work. And honestly, I don't know if I get myself into bigger things that I shouldn't. And remember, I always do this for you, my subscribers, all 850 of you. The moment of truth. Now we can see how the wings look and how the engine looks, which that's another concern of mine. Oh wow, look at the color. Wow, starting to look like an airplane now. Nice. This moving blanket has been here so long that it's literally falling apart. It's literally stuck to the airplane. Is the engine still there? Oh, well, it has an engine. What's this? Cool. Well, guys, look, check this out. This is a Rotax 2-stroke, 2-cylinder engine, and it's water cooled. So after just uncovering this engine, it actually looks pretty good, but that doesn't mean that it's all frozen up. Remember, this thing probably sat for 10 years, and although the prop does spin, that doesn't mean that the engine's not locked up, because I believe from the little research I did do, there's actually a clutch inside of here which lets it spin even though the engine's not turning when you turn the prop. So we're gonna get back to this in a little bit, but first, we have to put air in the tires to roll the airplane out of the hangar.
Good on that door?
Yeah.
Not your door. No.
Oh, time. Yeah, on the nose, it'll roll.
What are you thinking?
All right, so right now, we just got the airplane pulled out of the hangar, and it actually looks a lot better than what it did inside. We're gonna use this hose, and we're not gonna use my secret sauce because we wanna really protect the fabric of this airplane. Yeah, look at all that dirt. Now that she's all cleaned up, it's time to step back and take a good look at what we got on our hands. The Quicksilver Sport 2 SC has a 65 horsepower Rotax 582 engine, dual controls, a 12-gallon fuel tank, and a lightweight aluminum frame. With Dacron wings, it features side-by-side seating, electric start, and a 3-bladed prop. The first thing I did was call my dad. He worked at Eastern Airlines for over 25 years and taught me everything I know about fixing things and making money. Growing up, we spent countless hours in the garage together, so when this airplane project came up, I just felt right to team up with him. There's nothing better than working side by side with the guy that started it all. First, my dad suggested that we remove the air filter and check the carburetor on the engine to see if it's gummed up or clogged, since the engine has been sitting for 10 years. Next, we headed up to the front of the plane, where my dad started checking out the ignition system, since the original owner lost the key. We're going to have to bypass the ignition switch entirely just to see if we can get any power and get this engine started. Right here we have a little cup full of gas, and I'm going to use this just for testing purposes to try to fire it up. Uh-oh.
What, leak?
Got a fuel leak. I saw something dripping. Want to see it?
Probably the fuel going in the carburetor.
So it turns out we've actually got a fuel leak coming from the filter. It's likely just old and brittle, but since we're on the clock to get this thing running, it should be fine for testing purposes, at least for now. Now, it's the moment of truth. We're hopping in the cockpit, giving the rope a pull, and seeing if this engine will fire up for the first time in 10 years.
Hold the brake on.
Okay.
Because we don't have stop.
Okay.
How's this thing here?
You think it shouldn't go anywhere, right? I mean, the throttle's all the way. Wait. After pulling the engine over multiple times for more than 10 minutes, nothing happened. So we headed back to check if we missed something. Yeah. All right, take the air cleaner off and then try to spray something in it.
Hang on there.
So let's hop in and let's try this again. Make sure you got the...
Huh? Wonder if that wire's...
What about these wires? At this point, we realized the engine isn't getting any spark, so we grabbed some tools and headed back to the airplane to see if we could figure out what's going on. Try some of those. So we pulled the spark plugs and checked for spark, and, to no surprise, there wasn't any. We reversed a couple things, gave it a few more pulls, but still nothing. At this point, we realized the issue could be that the ignition coil wasn't getting any power and it needs a constant feed of electricity from the battery to work correctly. Well, there's no spark and we tried a couple different things, so we're going to try a couple more things and see if we can get it, but it's not looking good and it's getting dark.
Super overkill.
As a last-ditch effort, we hooked up power directly to the airplane's harness using a tiny jumper cable we had, and this seemed to make all the difference. With our new hope and the airplane lights finally glowing, we reinstalled the spark plugs, got everything hooked back up, and gave it a shot of starting fluid, just to see if we could finally get some life out of this engine. Oh, hey, look at that. Hey, it started. Quiet. That's good. Well, I'm going to say I call that running. So I guess that means we get to take it. All right, guys. Well, after going to the parts store a couple times, making a couple trips to get some pieces, and finally putting it all together with the help from my dad, and we got it running. Now, I think that's going to wrap up this video. It's like 9 o'clock at night, but we did manage to get the airplane running in one day, which means we get to take it home. And now that we got it running, if you would like to see me do something else with this airplane, let me know down below in the comments and tell me what I did wrong or right, because really, this was my first airplane experience. I've never worked on one before, but I would say that we got it running and it went pretty well. Thanks for watching.